You're gonna notice throughout this video, beginning, middle, end, just like I've always been doing, there's gonna be some infographics that are specifically about things that are happening in the United States because a lot is happening in the United States because that is the goal of the horrible, terrible people that are trying to kill off all of us is bombard us with as much bad news and like as much terrible things as possible. But I am going to put in a couple throughout this video because they're important bills that are they're being introduced and possibly, moving up through the system, but they're important bills that are going to be affecting all of us. If you don't think it's going to affect you, then you're fucking wrong. It's going to affect all of us. And some of them are going to turn around and bite them in the ass, but they don't have the foresight or just care for that. So those are going to be throughout the video. Please just take the time to take a look at them. Just, pause the video really quick and just take a quick look at them because there's some stuff that's important. And what I'm including in the video is not all of them. I get all of my resources and information for infographics from this Instagram account. Take some time and check out this Instagram account because they are so fucking on top of it. All of my infographics and all of the information I have for my infographics are coming from them almost always. And if it's not from them specifically, it's from what they're sharing. Just keep yourself knowledgeable. Keep yourself informed. That's what I want to say. Keep yourself informed as much as possible because if there's anything that you can do, one of the things that like I'm looking at is through my library, there's the Freedom to Read Act because there's a lot of censorship and, books that are just being like, what is the word? There's a specific thing where it's like quiet censorship essentially. And there's like a couple grassroots movements around the Freedom to Read Act that I am going to be looking up and getting information on and probably joining up with because like all my entire life, but like now more so than ever because I'm a librarian, that affects me and that affects my work and that affects me reading, which is so fucked up, especially when we're talking about books this whole month. So yeah, please be checking those out. Hello Friendzies, welcome back to my channel and welcome to this video. Now, I need to make a disclaimer. I need to preface this video because I know how the book talk and the booktube girlies like to tussle. Actually, I don't know anything about the booktube girlies anymore. I came from book YouTube. If I was a book community girly, it was from YouTube specifically. I don't really know about booktube anymore because I'm not as in it. I was at one point, but I'm not anymore. I thought multiple different things on YouTube are going to be my niche for my YouTube channel, and booktube was one of them. The book talk girlies, I know how you girls like to tussle. So let me just preface this super quick. Let me just put a little disclaimer. This is entirely my opinion. About this specific book, but also this specific genre. It is entirely my opinion. You are free to disagree. If you are upset about my opinion, you don't have to watch this video. You can click off, you can go away, you can block me if you want to. And it's just my opinion, okay? It's just my opinion. Please don't get mad at me. I'm not trying to disparage you. I'm not trying to talk shit or tell you not to read this specific genre. I'm just stating my opinion on it. Live your life. And it's not even going to get that deep. It's just literally observations that I have from the type of person I am and the reading material that I read, okay? How many times am I going to like touch my hair in this video? Take a shot for every time I do that. Actually, don't do that because you're going to get alcohol poisoning. Anyway, that's the disclaimer. Here's the video. So in last week's video, I talked specifically about how I read this book called My Funny Demon Valentine. And I said that I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to, and that I'm not a romance girly. So those two things go hand in hand. Possible spoilers for the book, and if there are spoilers when I start talking about them, there'll be like timestamps in the description if I talk about like spoilers for this book if you want to read it, because it's going to end up being a series called the Hellbent series. And I did put on hold the second book in the series because I'm interested and I want to read it. So let me get into why I ended up liking it more than I thought, different things that I didn't like about it, and just my opinions on the romance genre. So I don't think I'm a romance girly. I think the last like romance book I read, which I don't even know if it's like qualified as romance. I thought it was YA contemporary, and I read it when I was early 20s, so like I could read it now and it might not hold up the way I thought it did and I might not like it as much. But the last kind of romance book I read was the To All the Boys I Loved Before series. Loved that shit. Absolutely loved it. And I like sobbed my eyes out when certain things happened. Like I was a young adult with relationship upsets myself, you know? It just like it was perfect for the time. But and there have been plenty of other books that like have romance in them. Like I guess Tithe can be classified as like romantasy, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I feel like most of the books I read, if there's romance, if there's like a big kind of, not big plot point, but if there's a plot point of like two characters getting together, it's within something else. It's not where that relationship is the entire draw of the book. And that I think I prefer personally over books where that is the entire draw of the book. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going into books for specifically the relationship. If the relationship is happening while this is happening, I'm like, ooh, how fun. But it's not why I'm going into it. My Funny Demon Valentine is specifically romance. It's specifically a romance book. And it's human and demon relationship kind of thing. And there is sex in it. There are sex scenes. There is smut. I don't know what girlies that don't read fan fiction call it. Is it just sex scenes, open door romance? Is that what the term is? Genuinely, I don't know. I'm asking. I genuinely don't know. But speaking of fan fiction, it ties into this. So it is specifically a straight romance, which I feel like most romance books that are like talked about on the internet, especially nowadays, it's a heterosexual couple. It's a man and a woman, right? Which this I have to say so carefully because I don't want anybody to like take this out the wrong way. It has nothing to do with like purity culture. It has nothing to do with like kink shaming versus shaming people for being like prudes or uptight. It has nothing to do with anything like that. It genuinely is just personal taste and the fact that I'm gay. If you haven't been here before, please know I'm gay as fuck. I'm gay. So heterosexual romance to me is quite boring, especially with like books and like written media in which you're reading, not necessarily watching, because like I love a K-drama. Don't get me wrong, I love a K-drama, and all of them are straight. Unless you're watching some of the Thai dramas, and I don't know, I know there's a few Korean dramas. Are there some Chinese dramas that are gay? But most of the dramas that I have watched are K-dramas, and they're so heterosexual. They're so straight. Nothing wrong with it, but I find media that's like written and that you read, I'm quite bored. I'm quite bored with the straight heterosexual romance. I find it annoying. And I think that's because as a gay person, there's so much heterosexual romance in everything, in all types of media. It's so in my face all of the time, and it has been in my face for my entire life because that's just what most of the media is. And what most of the media was with me growing up. So I find it quite boring to read it. Like Tithe is heterosexual, but I don't know, something about Tithe. It's my favorite book of all time. So I don't know. I don't really have a problem with Tithe, but I know we're having funny, silly times, but don't forget our Palestinian families. We have Rami's family who has a final goal of 75K. Again, these final goals for our two Palestinian families have been to evacuate themselves and their family members. There are 8 to 12 family members between the two. But now, with Israel closing borders, shutting off electricity, shutting off water, cutting off aid, this money is going to be used to help purchase any resources whatsoever that are still available in Palestine to keep these people alive, because that should be the bare fucking minimum, is that they're allowed to live and they're allowed to have some kind of life. There's no fucking reason why they shouldn't. It's a Holocaust and it's a genocide, but like, holy fuck. Enough. So Rami's family, but also we have Sajud's family. Same thing. She has a final goal of $113,390. If she cannot evacuate at the moment, if she cannot evacuate and her family cannot evacuate, let them be able to purchase food, clothing, any type of water that they might have, medical supplies that they might have, medicine, anything that can provide them any kind of life in the fucking hellhole they're living in right now because of Israel and because of the United States funding it. Okay? Okay. Let's make sure we do that. I guess as I'm getting older, I like too, I don't know. I tried to read it was a YA romance, so maybe that had something to do with it. The fact that it was like teen. It had the teen book like sticker on the spine from my library, but it wasn't necessarily teen. They were like young adults. They were in college. But I couldn't get through it. It was the first book I've like what is it? Did not finish DNF'd. It's the first book I DNF'd like ever because I have a very bad habit of being like I don't like this book, but what if it gets better and finishing it and being like I regret that so much. It's the first book I've DNF'd in like my adult life because I was so bored and I could not see it getting better. So, I find straight romance very boring. And you have to remember that as a gay person, I also come from a fan fiction lens. So gay fan fiction and gay fan fiction. The Hydra of, of internet reading, if you will. And I have just like any fan fiction girlies. I don't know how much of book talk and like fan fiction girlies like intersect. I know a couple of them, but we also don't fuck with them anymore. This is not pointed at anybody other than my ex, so don't worry about that. But um I don't know a lot of girlies that are like the intersection of fan fiction and like book talk. So I don't know how many book talk girls like know about fan fiction or like know about like the culture of fan fiction and everything. Most fan fiction is incredibly gay, and most fan fiction, like most of the absolute best ones you've ever read that you finish reading it and you feel like your life has been altered, is written by like a 15-year-old from a different country whose English is not their first language, and it is some of like the most beautiful, gut-wrenching works of art ever. The thing is with my funny Demon Valentine, I think specifically it was kind of because it's like the human and demon. I think it was not only like like romance and like sex, but it was also like I don't know if this was the intention. I'm taking it from like my brain. There's the like idea of like monster fucking because of the demon. And again, this isn't to bash this book. This isn't like a review or to bash this book, but I wanted to kind of it goes into the idea of like romance as literature. My Funny Demon Valentine, I ended up liking a hell of a lot more than I thought I would, but not for the smut and not for like the sex scenes, nothing about that. I guess this is like a minor spoiler. At one point they're fucking on a piano, and then like later in the book he goes into demon form and they have sex when his like skin is red and his wings are out and she holds onto his horns, and like to me that was boring. That was boring. Not in a like I wish it was kinkier way, but like I was bored. Because the thing is about this book specifically is I loved the story of it. I had so much fun with the story. I had a lot of fun with the world building. I wish there was more world building because I'm a whore for lore. But I had a lot of fun with the characters. The characters are so... I don't know if it was genuinely supposed to be like very silly or if it was genuinely supposed to be like very serious. I found all of the characters a fucking hoot. I thought they were so silly. I thought they were so goofy. I was having a great time with them. I cared so little about the smut, and I was so much more interested in like their interactions and like where the story was going and how certain characters were going to react. That was a me thing. That's a me personally thing, because I find the romance and the relationship and the sex scenes much more interesting and fulfilling in like gay fan fiction. Like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's just the way it's written. Like I don't know. And also the idea of the monster fucking, I was bored. I've read better. And that's, again, it's not to talk shit about this book or this author, because I genuinely really liked the book. And I am the first person when, I believe it's called My Demon Hunter, when that book is finally published and like goes through the library processing system and like gets all its stickers and gets sent out for any holds that are on it. I'm the first one in line in my library system. I'm the first one in line because I'm excited. And I think that the character that's going to be like the main character love interest for the second book is going to be like, for the monster fucking, I think it's going to be much more like monster, which like, okay, yeah, but again, I think I'm going to be pretty bored with the smut. I just like the character that they're introducing for the second book that's going to be like the main character is so fucking weird. And apparently he has like the mannerisms of a lizard. And I can't fucking wait, because he's gonna be so strange. He's gonna be such a little fucking weirdo, and I can't wait to read about, like, the shenanigans that he gets up to. That's what I'm most excited about, is what silly, goofy nonsense this creature man is about to get up to. So yeah, I don't know, that's just, like, my take on it. I just find, like, cishet romance quite boring. I've seen enough of it. But at the same time, if you're silly and goofy enough and you're like just a little guy, I guess I'll read it. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of wanted to talk about it because, again, it's not at all, like, my opinion, but also not at all through the lens of, like, kink shaming or, like, purity culture or, like, vanilla sex is, like, you're just being a prude. Like, it's none of that. It has nothing to do with any of that. And, like, things are, in fact, that deep, but sometimes they're not. And I think all of us here have critical thinking skills enough to understand that there is a time and a place for things to be that deep and also for things to be not that deep at all. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to talk about it because I've talked about it with a couple of my friends. One of my friends is a romantasy girly. I keep finding, oh my god, I keep finding things now because, of course, I liked one video, so I'm getting a million of them, of, like, romantasy girlies when they describe, like, the main character's penis. And it's, like, a tree root that's, like, huge and long, and they're like, these are what these fairy bitches are going for, and it makes me laugh so hard. I have, what book is it? The Courting of Bristol Keats. I have it because it's so interesting, and you know how Barnes & Noble lets you read, like, up to 20 pages, like, preview? I have that, and I really liked the pages that were available on, like, the Barnes & Noble website, so I'm really excited to read through it. That is on, I have, like, 3, like, books that I want to read, that are all off to the side on my bedside table that are checked out from the library, and I have the Sign of Affection manga. See, I like the A Sign of Affection. I like that. I like that manga a lot. I like Fruits Basket, but I think it's the mediums in which the stories are told, and also just like the writing of individual authors, where the romance is like, yes, I love that. Don't worry, guys, I'm not heterophobic. Relax. Some of my best friends are heterosexual. One of my best friends is heterosexual. Maybe 2 at a push. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and I hope you're having fun with this, like, book-themed month. Like I said, it was not intentionally book-themed, but then, like, it ended up being book-themed, so I hope you're enjoying it so far. Also, hi, sorry, I know I already did my goodbye, but don't forget our Palestinian family, Rami's family, who has a final goal of 75K. Everybody here, plus me, $5 minimum, we can get them money. If we can only do a little bit at the time, we can't reach that final goal. If they're able to purchase resources they need while in Palestine, while aid trucks are completely cut off now, let's do that. And we have Sajud's family, $113,390. Same thing. If it can't be evacuation money, it can be money to purchase resources that they will need while aid trucks are completely cut off. Don't forget, $5 minimum. It's a $5 minimum on GoFundMe. We all have $5. Have I been bad about it? Absolutely. We need to be better at it. $5 minimum. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!